Hey everyone, for investors interested in the rising effectiveness of artificial intelligence and companies like Nvidia that are benefiting from that trend, I've got an interesting stock to evaluate here in Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. It's a supplier to companies like Nvidia and AMD, and it too will benefit from the rising effectiveness of AI. So let's take a closer look at this company and try and predict where the stock price could be 1 year from now, by the end of 2024. So let's get into it.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
To make this stock price prediction for Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, I need a few pieces of information, starting with its stock price. Right now, TSM is trading at a $133 per share valuation, which is up nicely so far year to date in 2024, up from $105 per share. I also need Taiwan Semiconductor's price to earnings ratio. This is the valuation. Let's take a closer look at why price to earnings is important. The price to earnings ratio is an important financial metric I use to determine which stock is more expensive or if a stock is too expensive. Let me show you this example here. I have two stocks, one trading at a market price of $100 and one trading at a market price of $12. The one trading at a market price of $100 has an earnings per share of $2.58, while the other has an earnings per share of just 11 cents. When we look at their price to earnings ratio, the one trading at a market price of 100 is trading at a price to earnings of 38.76, while the one trading at a market price of $12 is trading at a price to earnings of 114. So in this example, the one trading at a market price of 12 is actually more expensive because I'm paying 114 times earnings to purchase this stock. That means if the company was to pay me earnings per share every year as a dividend, it would take 114 years for me to receive my money back. Whereas the other stock, it would pay me back in 38.76 years. Now, there's a lot more to think about in this equation, but to simplify, that's an example that shows you why a company with a market price higher can actually be cheaper than a company with a market price that's lower. All right, so now that you've got an understanding of this valuation metric, it's currently at 25.66, right about the average valuation this stock has traded for in the last 10 years. Now, pre-2020, it was trading at below its current valuation range, and between 2020 and 2022, it was above this valuation trend. And given the rising effectiveness of AI and the demand for semiconductor chips as a result of that rising effectiveness, the valuation I don't think is going to go back to pre-pandemic levels, pre-2020 levels. I'm also going to need the earnings per share forecast for Taiwan Semiconductor Company. Wall Street analysts that are following the stock expect TSM to deliver $5.71 in earnings per share in 2024. Remember, this is coming from a collection of Wall Street analysts that follow TSM stock. They present their forecasts for where they think earnings per share will be, and this is a collection of those forecasts. It's a consensus. It brings together all of the estimates together and comes up with the consensus estimate for earnings per share. Some might be lower, some might be higher, and nobody really knows exactly what the earnings per share will be in 2024. Again, this is an estimate, this is a forecast, so it's never precise, and it's all, if it is precise, it's random chance that it was precise. They try and hit it within a range and try and get close to that earnings per share estimate. All right, so now that we've got some of our figures, let's take a closer look and make a valuation prediction for TSM stock. So earnings per share for 2024, $5.71. Remember, I got that from Wall Street analyst estimates. The PE ratio, 25.66. I got that from the most recent valuation metric here. So if you combine the 25.66, which is its current trading price, with the expected 2024 earnings per share, the estimated stock price would be $146 in 2024. That would be a mild improvement, roughly 10% from its current trading price of $133 per share. However, if investors become more enthusiastic about TSM stock, let's say the AI trend continues to be better than expected, which so far it has been, despite how popular you think AI has been, despite how momentous AI was in 2023 and so far in 2024, the numbers that are coming in from companies suggest that demand for AI related products and services is even better than expected. Even better than expected, better than the already enthusiastic hype and momentum from AI. So all of that is working in TSM's favor. So if that happens and the PE increases to 30, then the stock price could rise to $171 per share. That would be a big improvement from the current $133 per share. Still, if things get worse and the price to earnings were to decrease to 19, that would mean the stock price could fall to $108 per share, which would be a slight and moderate decrease from the current trading price of $133 per share. And I'm sure investors would not be happy with that stock price. In the worst case scenario I have highlighted here, the PE ratio falls to 15 and the stock price falls to $85 per share. I will admit I don't think this scenario is very likely for TSM, given all the benefits, given all the rising effectiveness of AI. However, there is a scenario where this PE is possible, and you've probably already thought about it, and that's the geopolitical risk. If that geopolitical risk were to manifest itself and worsen, then that could really hurt TSM's valuation and what investors will be willing to pay for this stock, given those risks of those geopolitical concerns. And so there is a possibility of this, although I think that's a lower probability event. I think more likely is that the PE ratio stays around 25. So if I was to give my base case, my best case estimate for where I think TSM stock price will be in 2024, I would say in this range here, in the first range, I would say between $142 per share and $152 per share for a roughly 10 to 12 to 15% increase for the rest of the year in 2024. Now, investors might say, well, that's not very exciting. Well, it's a big company. It's already increased meaningfully in 2024, and I wouldn't be surprised if my outlook is too pessimistic. If AI continues to grow faster than we're all expecting, like it has done so far, then that outlook could be too pessimistic. So that remains to be seen. However, I'm trying to give a range here, and this is the range that I foresee happening for TSM stock in 2024. If you liked the video you just saw and you want to see more just like it, please subscribe to the channel. I can't keep this channel free without the support of viewers like you. And if you're already subscribed, thank you, and I appreciate your support.